folks a chance to get over here to this live stream and see what happens. We got some really good questions that have come in here over the last couple of days. I put out a message there on the community tab asking you to send in your questions, and we've got a bunch of really, really good ones. So I'm excited to go through some things. We're going to be talking about the 2022 PGA Show, what I liked, what I disliked, some interesting finds that I had there. People have fielded questions about certain types of clubs or the best use of their budget. And we'll be talking about how to spend your money best here in 2022. And then a couple of personal questions have come in as well, and we'll cover those as well. So I hope we have some fun here today, guys. Again, sorry I kind of bungled this up a little bit. There's 2 live streams at the same time, or at least maybe 2 potential live streams running, but hopefully the folks from the other one will come over here and join us here today. As always, feel free to chat throughout the session. I'll do my best to answer questions as they come in. Although what I think we'll do is we'll take some of the original questions that came. We had about 20 or 30 questions that came from the community tab. I'm going to answer those in some chunks. So we'll go through maybe 5, 6 of those questions. Then I'll throw it over into the live chat, which hopefully I'll be able to see here in terms of things you guys are asking in real time. I'll have to be kind of juggling between a couple of tabs here. But without further ado, I think we're going to go to our first question. Again, these ones came in from the community tab. So what are the most exciting new arrivals that you would want to try out from the PGA Show this last week? All right, there were some pretty cool things that were released. I think number one, in terms of technology, something that I'm super excited about, and I'm hoping I can do a review on this in the next week because I believe it rolls out on February 1st, is that Flight Scope and their Mevo Plus just rolled out a new Pro software upgrade. And let me tell you, I don't generally get excited about software upgrades, but this one is super cool. I want to say it's a $900 upgrade or maybe $999, somewhere just under $1,000 anyways, give or take. And what is amazing is you can get a 3D visualization of your club in real time, and you can literally, like Matrix style, turn the camera around to kind of see how that club is hitting the ball. There's all sorts of data that you can give to your coaches and analyze your swing a little bit better. And it also improves the accuracy a little bit, I believe. At least that's what the guy that was telling me at the PGA Show. And that is probably the number one thing that I'm super excited about. Number 2 thing that I'm excited about is ShotScope. And they're rolling out a new rangefinder. Again, rangefinder technology, it doesn't change a lot from year to year, right? So it's hard to really get excited about a new rangefinder that's coming out on the market. But a couple of things this thing looks to be doing really cool. And hopefully I can say this because I think that you're not really supposed to say or release any images of this thing, at least until March. But what I can say to you is that the ergonomics of this thing is incredibly cool and different, and it's just a little bit more stable. And the fact that it's kind of a hybrid design where you've got your traditional rangefinder with the glass and everything, but you can also have a little screen there on the back. We saw that with the Garmin Z82. We've seen that with the Voice Caddy SL2, I believe it is. And just having some of those visual graphics display is really cool. Now, this thing you can actually take off. You can take it right off the unit and clip it to your belt, or as well, you could attach it to the cart if you were on a cart, or you could attach it to your bag as you're carrying. A really cool thing from ShotScope there as well. The most interesting thing I saw, and I plan to hopefully, if I can get my hands on this club, do a complete video about it. But the coolest thing that I saw was a club I have never heard of. Demo day was honestly a pretty big disappointment. Probably you've seen that really all of the main club manufacturers didn't come. Titleist didn't come. Callaway didn't come. TaylorMade, Cobra, Wilson, nobody showed up. No Ping, no Srixon, Cleveland, none of them. I've never walked into a demo day where it was the least amount of people I've ever seen. I mean, partly to do with the conditions. It was like 45 degrees here in Florida. And it was also like raining on and off that day. But I've never seen such a poor turnout not only from PGA professionals and media and just folks that were visiting, but as well as the manufacturers. But there was a hidden gem, guys. The company, if you want to like Google it, is called Haruken, I believe, Haruken. It was towards the end of demo day, or at least for me. I left around noon because again the weather wasn't so good, maybe 1 o'clock. And towards the end of demo day, I tried this thing. I have never hit a driver. I set up my little voice caddy because they didn't have anything to tell how well you're hitting or anything like that. I set up my Swing Caddy SE300i behind me just to kind of get some numbers when I was testing clubs that day. I have never hit a driver that if I were to drive out 265 yards and just drop a ball, I would have dropped these balls within a yard of each other. I hit 10 shots in a row that could not have been more than about 2 yards off from each other. Now, this club, again, I'm going to try to contact the manufacturer. And if you want to, feel free to go to their contact page and tell them you want to see Let's Play Through review this thing. They make their own shafts. He makes custom shafts. I think the shaft alone was $600, he told me. So these aren't cheap clubs. This driver is about $1,000 driver. The sound did not sound good. It was very like tingy and loud. I asked him about it, and he said the Japanese market really likes loud sounding drivers, which I found interesting. I had no idea about that. But if you could put the sound away from this thing and just focus on the results, this was one of the most amazing drivers I've ever seen in my life. It was pretty awesome. Bathman, you are watching this from a supermarket car park, and I applaud you for that, man. Love Bathman, love seeing your comments. He comments on pretty much every video, and he's one of the first people, so it's good to see you here. Again, the chats will be running probably pretty quick here today, so I'll try to do as well as I can here to catch everyone's comments and questions. But I know some are going to be missed. So if they are missed, I will go back to the chat and hopefully I'll be able to answer it down in the comments section. Anyway, the Haruken driver, I cannot wait to test this thing. Listen, I don't get super excited about things too often. When I do, people always accuse me of like being a shill for that company. But let me tell you, this thing was next level just in terms of dispersion. And I was hitting it well. The Swing Caddy, we were using really crummy range balls. It's 45 degrees. It's raining off and on. And when I was swinging this club, I think it was drizzling on me. So take all that into account. The Swing Caddy told me I was hitting it 249 to 250, somewhere in that range. With range balls and everything else, we're probably talking 270 is really how far these things were going. And that's what these things just took off like a rocket ship. Honestly, this driver, to me, put the Stealth to shame, put any other driver to shame that I've tested so far in the last couple of years. And I'm super excited. I got to get my hands on this thing somehow. You're not going to be able to walk into a PGA Superstore or an Edwin Watts or any of those places and get this thing. I'll tell you, it was this little tiny booth. The guy's got like a hand-printed sign on the table. He's got one flyer he's handing out. I think it was him and maybe his wife or one other person that works at the company. Looked like a real small mom and pop. I was talking to the founder. This is the guy who makes the clubs. And this thing was sweet. So hoping I can get my hands on that one. But between the Flight Scope, the Shot Scope, and the Haruken, those are the coolest things I saw. I also tested out one other thing that I'm kind of excited about, in some ways at least, is Golf Zone. They do simulators, and they do really high-end, super fancy simulators where you can adjust the slope that you're playing on. Like literally the floor will move if you're on an uphill lie and downhill lie and that sort of thing. But they're coming out with something that's more for us average mere mortals out there. They're coming out with a more of a mobile unit, something you can still use indoors and outdoors. It's a Doppler-based unit, and it's got their proprietary software that Golf Zone uses. We'll see what that's priced at, but that would potentially be something like a Mevo Plus, a SkyTrack, a Garmin R10, and that. Well, Garmin R10 is priced significantly less, but somewhere around the Mevo Plus to SkyTrack range. So not super expensive like their top of the line golf simulators, but not on the low end either. Somewhere in the middle there. So I'm excited about that one as well. Thanks for that question. That was from Justin Baldwin Bonnie. Okay, let's move on to the next question. And again, I will be answering chat questions here as well, but I want to run through a few of the community questions first before we get to open it up to you guys live. Why, we talked about this, but why are the major golf manufacturers avoiding the PGA Show? I'll just tell you, this is 100% speculation. Okay, I don't know. I don't know anything. Um, uh, I have no official word from any of the manufacturers why they didn't show up. But I will say this: it's almost like they talked to each other and decided that, hey, let's none of us go. That's what it seemed like to me. Again, just my opinion here. Um, that was definitely strange to me, and I think, again, my opinion, a lot of people think of Florida as this COVID hotspot, and big corporations don't like risk. Okay, so if you were to, if someone were to get sick on your team or something, you fly them in. People are coming from all over the world. I think it was really just risk mitigation. I don't think it was anything more than that. But again, I do not know. This is my opinion. But Leslie Tucker, thank you for your question there. Chili Dippa, what are you most excited about or looking forward to this year? Great question, Mark. Mark's in Atlanta. He's also a golf vlogger. He does golf course vlogs. I definitely recommend you check out the Chili Dippa channel. I watch it. But Mark, great question. What I'm most excited for, it was supposed to show up yesterday. It was supposed to show up yesterday, and FedEx says it's now delayed until hopefully today. It's probably because it's cold in Florida, by the way. It's absolutely freezing here in Florida, at least freezing for us. It dipped into the 30s. I think it even might have touched 30 overnight. And of course, my heat went off. That's why I'm wearing this like nice cozy jacket here today. My heat went off. By the way, a good time to probably say, hey, hit the super chat if you want me to be able to fix my heat this week. Happy to take any donations to fix this heater. But getting back to Mark's question, what I'm most excited about, which is supposedly coming today, delayed from FedEx, is the Bushnell Launch Pro. I cannot wait to get my hands on the Bushnell Launch Pro. I think you may have seen a video I did recently where I said I'm setting up a simulator here at my house. I've got a little secondary kind of garage building that I can turn into a simulator studio. Again, if you've been watching this channel, you know that I'm sweating. It's awful. It's humid. It's almost unplayable in July, August here in Florida. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to do some inside simulator comparisons and have some fun inside in the heat of the summer. Also, last summer it rained like literally for 2 months and it screwed up my entire production schedule. So that will allow me to keep producing videos. I want to get back to our rhythm here, by the way, of putting out 2 videos a week. You probably know I've only gone to 1 video a week. It's because I was moving. I've had a lot of other things happening here the last few weeks. So I've only been putting out 1, and that's been tough to do. But I want to get back to our weekly or twice weekly rhythm here for Let's Play Through going forward. And that's, again, why I want to do this live stream today. Because, again, I've been trying to put out videos on Sundays, and it hasn't worked here for the last few weeks in a row, or maybe a couple months even. And at least we can do this and be together. So, Mark, great question. So Bushnell Launch Pro is the #1 thing I'm looking forward to this year. I'm also would love to try those stealth irons. I think we do have a question about that. Maybe it's even the next question. It is. Will you be doing a TaylorMade stealth irons review? And are you looking forward to trying the new Bridgestone golf balls? Yes, stealth irons, because I'm playing the Sim 2s right now. I really like the Sim 2s, giving me everything I'd say except for feel, right? That's probably the one thing that's lacking. That's the thing that the JPX 921 Hot Metals does a little bit better than the Sim 2 is feel. But performance-wise, I'm playing, honestly, the best golf of my life. No doubt about it. And I'm playing a club I would not have guessed I'd ever be playing. But I'm really enjoying it. Bridgestone golf balls. Bridgestone at the PGA Show, they were there at demo day, and they rolled out something super cool. And I will be putting a video together so you can actually see this stuff instead of just talking about it here on the live stream. But Bridgestone has been doing something where they call it auto, and it's basically a little kiosk that is autonomous. That's why they call it auto. And you hit 3 shots. I looked back behind me, and believe it or not, they're using a FlightScope Mevo Plus as the technology behind it. I looked into their little box. I snuck a peek. But it stands about a little higher than a person because you're looking at a screen. It almost looks like an old video arcade, and it talks to you and it says, "Hey, what ball are you playing currently? What are you looking for? Distance or accuracy? Da 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 da." And then you take 3 shots with this thing. It's really taking your best swing, because I did it twice just to make sure to see if it would give me the same ball twice. On the second one, I actually topped one, which is super embarrassing. to do. And but again, cold, rainy conditions and a lot going on at the PGA Show demo day. I topped one, and it's anyway. To make a long story short, then I hit a couple good ones, and it still gave me the same ball. So I think it just takes maybe your best swing, or it's looking at your swing speed or something like that. But pretty cool device. I think I was fit for. Gosh, I don't know the naming convention of Bridgestone balls, but it was the 2. I think it's R2. I want to say. Any rate, I'm not like. I like Bridgestone balls. I play them for a little while, but more so now. I mean, I really won't switch balls. I play Encore Vero X1, and they've got some really exciting. Encore's got some really exciting balls coming out here in 2022, which I really can't talk about, but you should pay attention to when they do happen. And I'm really on the path of these direct-to-consumer balls. If I wasn't playing Encore, I'd probably be playing a Vice. I got a couple of balls that have come in the mail here recently. I got what is it called? Sugar to test, and I have something else to test. So I'm really digging these direct to consumer balls. I don't see myself switching to a Bridgestone. Certainly not going to pay the money for a Titleist personally. If I was going to buy a retail ball, believe it or not, you can believe it. I play Kirkland signature balls. If I ever run out of something, that's one of these direct to consumer brands. So those are my balls of choice here. I'm going to take a quick water here, and I got to figure out where I can see the chat in YouTube because I'm having a little difficulty doing that. I'm going to launch a new tab here, and hopefully there's not a lot of noise on here as I do that. But guys, again, thanks for being here. I know folks on the West Coast, it's super early in the morning. Folks in the UK, we're heading into the middle of the afternoon, so I appreciate you taking some time here for me to chat with me. It's always really cool to do this. I'm going to launch the chat here so I can see it. All right. Oh, Christopher, you sent a super chat. Awesome, man. Thank you, Christopher. Just seeing it. It's crazy. It's a crazy Florida man is talking about broken heater. We are 7 degrees here, which stinks. Good luck on the heater. Thank you, Christopher. I know. Brett, thank you for a few dollars there to fix the heater fund. That's awesome. Okay, I've got access to our chat now, which is going to make this a little bit more engaging, I hope. All right. I'm ready probably to take a quick break from pre-programmed questions to actually answer some of your live questions here. So Common Man asked, Gabe, were you able to meet any other YouTube content creators? Stacked Golf, Mr. Short Game, etc. Man, I would have loved to see Stacked Golf, and I just saw they released a video that they were actually there at demo day, but they must have come after me. I got there kind of early. The media is allowed in from 9 a.m. to 12, media only, and then they allow media and PGA professionals, and then they allow the public. I assume Stack Golf probably had a media badge as well, but I didn't bump into him. I would have. One guy I did bump into twice. I bumped into him at PGA Demo Day as well as the regular PGA show at the Orange County Convention Center was Garage Golf. So Roland, if you watch his channel, he's got a pretty decent sized channel, 9,000. He does a great job showing you the best indoor simulator or garage golf setup. And he does a really good job breaking that down. In fact, I've used some of his advice here as I'm kind of starting to source some parts for the simulator that we're building. So I really wish I would have run into Stack Golf. I didn't know Mr. Short Game was there. Obviously would have said hi if I would have seen him, but that was it. I really saw Roland, and I think that was it. Brett's Grasscapades ask, when will there be availability of Garmin R10s again? Great question, Brett. I stopped into the Garmin booth. Garmin released a new, when we'll be doing a video on this, they released a new green technology where you can actually see like a heat map of the green. This is going to make a bigger difference for you lower handicappers, because you can probably hit it a little bit close. Like a lot of times I just like to hit the green, but some people want to say, I'm going to hit the right side of the green, let it trickle in, or I'm going to hit the back of the green and kind of use it as a backstop. So kind of cool. I think they're doing a subscription model with that, which I wasn't hugely thrilled about. But in terms of Garmin R10s, I did ask them, and I think we will hopefully see production ramp up. I think Garmin, like cars and everything else this year, was really hit by this chip shortage thing. At least that's my best guess. But I do think that they're going to be able to get the supply chain of those running again. I think a lot more people will be joining a Garmin R10 because there's so many people that want to buy it that just haven't been able to buy it just yet. Okay, Radon asks, when is the Launch Pro arriving? Hope you do a review of it. Very few on YouTube. It was supposed to be here yesterday, Radon. I was just saying that. And it's on schedule. I should check my FedEx here, but it's on schedule to be here today. So again, can't do much with it right now because I'm not going to go swing a golf club, but I'd love to play around with the electronics. So make a long story short, you should be seeing a review of that in the next 2 weeks. And I plan to do a lot of that. I plan on this being my stand, like my go-to if we go to a range, if we do the simulator videos from here at my house. I plan on using that, so you'll see a lot of it, and I plan on being the kind of the go-to source of information in terms of, if there's ever software updates and things. I'll be doing a lot of comparisons, that versus the R10, that versus some of the more expensive units out there. I'll be doing as much as I can with the Bushnell Launch Pro because I plan on actually buying one from playbetter.com. Good time to just give them a plug, by the way. You see that Play Better, they send me a lot of the gear that we test on the show, all the electronic gear, and sometimes I even buy it. I bought an R10 last year that we gave away. That's where I buy my stuff. And I'll tell you, I got to see them at the PGA Show and spend a little time with them. These guys, I mean, you can do your shopping at the big box stores. You can, go online to Amazon or something. But if you really want to support guys that love the game, they were talking to me like, and I could just see it and hear it in their words that they love customer service. It's something that I like. When I owned a business or when I was in retail as a kid, I used to work at Sports Authority. It was one of my first jobs. I did not like customer service, but these guys love customer service. And you could see it in everything they said. And they were even telling me they would rather if you buy something from them, they would rather be the ones that you call and actually walk you through any issues you're having. But sometimes they actually have to send it to one of the manufacturers that, is the equipment. I guess they split time from time to time, and they prefer to actually keep it in-house because they really want to make sure everyone has a good experience. Those guys are salt of the earth. If you're going to spend your money, playbetter.com is where I spend my money when I spend my money. And I'm probably going to buy this Bushnell. If they're not going to give me this one. Unfortunately, it's kind of expensive, but I'm going to take my own money and buy one of these for us. So, all right. Let's see. For a beginner golfer, Cameron, this is Cameron Bowen's question. For a beginner golfer, would you recommend cavity back or blade wedges? Good question. Cavity back wedges, I don't see a huge need to have a cavity back and a wedge one way or the other. I don't think that you necessarily need to have a cavity back, but there's definitely more forgiving wedges out there. One of the ones that I saw at the PGA Show that looked very forgiving was called the Indi, INDI. Also, I've reached out to them to ask them to send us some clubs so I can take them out on course. That they actually have grooves all the way to the end, which I really like because sometimes I hit them off the toe myself. I hit a wedge shot and it's not so great. And I hit it off the toe. Well, the grooves go all the way to the toe on these. It's a full face groove. They're also a little chunkier, and I like those. So I don't necessarily think you have to have a cavity back wedge, but definitely there are more forgiving wedges out there. Mizuno makes a pretty forgiving wedge. I know the T20 series was a pretty forgiving wedge that we reviewed on this channel. So awesome question there. All right, let's go back to some of our asked questions from the community tab. And I'm going to do our best just to run through everything that came in over there because I want to make sure everyone's questions answered today. And I got nowhere to be. It's cold and I'm not going anywhere today. All right, will you be doing? Okay. Yep. All right, here we go. This one comes from Mike Weston. Would you consider doing a comparison video between your current putter and the Even Roll ER11V? Absolutely. We did last year, and I will do them again. I was hoping to do some in December. It just didn't work out because we were moving, and you can see I'm not even in my normal studio space here. I'm in my wife's office at the house. I just haven't been able to do one of these things, but we do a what's in the bag. We take a look at everyone's what's in the bag, and I was shocked that probably the number one putter in viewers of Let's Play Thru, the golf people of Let's Play Thru, was an Even Roll. It was right up there with Scotty Cameron, and the Spider putter I think was probably up there as well. But there was a ton of Even Rolls. That's a brand I haven't looked at on the channel officially, and I would love to. I would absolutely love to. They're building a new PGA Tour Superstore here in Tampa, and I believe they stock Even Roll. So if they do, I'll be over there to check those out. I think I'm going to do a camp out video from the PGA store opening. I guess people camp out like Best Buy style, and I thought it would just be fun to do it with folks and see what it's like, because I think they have like $30,000 worth of giveaways, and maybe whatever I get, if I'm one of the lucky winners, when they open the doors, I'll give it away on this channel. But I thought that'd be a fun video to do. So, make a long story short, yes, would love to test that putter. I just got to get my hands on one. I don't know anyone at Even Roll directly. If you do, great. I would love to see that putter. And by the way, sometimes people from this show send me clubs to review. I know we reviewed a 70-degree wedge, or 72-degree wedge that was sent over from Steven, one of our Let's Play Through VIPs, and he sent me over a wedge to test. We tested around the show, and I sent it back to him. So if there's ever a club you guys want to see, maybe that you have or you can get your hands on, send it my way, and I will test it out. We'll do a review, and then I'll send it back to you. All right, cool. Good question, Mike. I appreciate that, man. This one comes from Tome Ferreira. Anything getting upgraded in the bag this year? Great question. I'd be hard pressed to think. I'll just go take you through my bag. I don't think I would, unless I can get my hands on that Harukin driver I told you about. If I can get my hands on that, there's a chance that replaces the Sim 2. Apart from that, I don't think I can pick up the gains. We're going to take a look at the next drivers I want. That new Cleveland driver I definitely want to test. I have a PXG driver, the Gen 4 driver that's coming to my house this week, hopefully. Those I'm definitely going to test. And my mind is always open. I am open. I am not brand specific. I'm completely brand agnostic. I'll play anything. And you know my bag is a mixed bag anyways. So I just doubt that I'll see the significant increases enough to switch drivers. But if I do, you may see a driver in the bag, but probably not. 3-wood, doubtful again. I really like the Ping G425. That's been a really good weapon for me since I bought it last year. I did a video about that. If you haven't, it's a good video where I go back. We actually first polled the Let's Play Through community, and then I literally took the top 4 choices and we tested those out, and I ended up going with the Ping G425. Don't see myself with that. I have an old hybrid. I put it back in the bag, guys. My Wilson Staff C300, this red club. That's the club that could likely be replaced. I did a video last year about trying to replace that club, and I just haven't found anything I liked. For a while, I literally played with one less club in my bag. I was playing with 13 clubs. And then at the end of the year, I put it back in. I used it at the club championship where I finished second in the gross category in my division, the A division. And a couple of the shots coming down the wire on 17, I was 185 dead into the wind. It was about a 30-mile-an-hour wind. And I took out my 210 club as that C300, and I banged one, and it hit the green, and that was probably one of the biggest difference makers of that whole round. It could have gone sideways from there. So that's the club most likely to change. I've got the Sim 2 irons, which I really love. If I could find another iron, and there's a chance I go back to the JPX 921s, but if I could find an iron that gives me the same forgiveness, same length and distance, and I can get a little bit better feel out of that club, I could likely switch the Sim 2 irons. Wedges, I'm playing the Vokeys. Mizuno, I'm be testing the Mizuno wedges, actually. I really like them. They're not quite as long, from early tests at least, they're not quite as long as the Vokeys, but they feel great. I got the copper ones, those new ones they released last year. So that's a chance I could switch to the SM8s, but we have to do the actual comparison video on course. I'll probably be doing that one on Wednesday here in Tampa. Putter, I'll try that even roll that we talked about, but I really love my Sax Parente, and it would be tough. I make a lot of putts with that, but that putter saves me a lot, so it would be tough for me to change that. So likely the hybrid may change. I'm definitely not, unless I fall in love with something, I probably won't be changing the rest. Sometimes you got to stick with what you got, guys. I know this is a golf equipment review show, and I got to show you all the latest and greatest, but if you hit something good, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of thing sometimes, right? All right. This is from Ross Strange. Ross, what's the best full bag? So driver, woods, hybrids, irons, wedges, putter options for a mid to high handicapper. Oh, that's a very easy question to ask. The best, bar none, that I've found is the Costco Callaway Edge set. It's a set that if you can find it in store, sells for $4.99, but that's getting harder and harder to do. You don't see those in stock too often. We did a couple videos on that, Ross, that you may or may not have seen, but if you haven't, definitely go check them out. That's by far the best package set that I've ever found. Cobra makes a good package set. That would probably be my number 2 choice, although that one's going to be more like $800-900. But one again, the good thing about the PGA Show and the big names not being there is it gave me more time to check out the independents and the smaller outfits out there. And I get a kick even going to, like, there's a whole couple of rows of just like tchotchkes and training aids, and that's like a guilty pleasure of mine, just to see the strange things that get rolled out at the PGA Show. And sometimes it's like, man, I bet people, they did this in their garage. Maybe they got a 3D printer, created a couple prototypes, and they spent their whole life savings going to roll this product out. And I hope those guys are successful. But I'm sure a lot of them are hit and miss too, so I get a kick out of that. But one of the companies I found, what I would call a hidden gem, was Sticks. Okay, Sticks makes a package set. I got a chance to actually try those at Demo Day. They had a little tent out there. I met the founders, nice guys, young guys. And the clubs are cool. Like, they're all like that, like a stealth black, like a black matte finish to them. Only thing that concerns me with those is, over time, is that going to wear down? Sometimes you get those black faced clubs or the clubs with the black faces, and they wear down. You see the chrome come through after a few shots and stuff. That I don't know about, but they look cool. But they felt great. They were so easy to get up in the air. Distance was definitely down because, again, I had brought my swing caddy with me, so I could actually see in real time what are these numbers. And distance was not what I'm normally used to, but their lofts aren't crazy pressed either. But they were super easy to get in the air. So for a beginner, high handicapper, maybe even a mid handicap player out there who wants a pre-packaged set, I think Sticks Golf would be something. I'm hoping, again, I reached out to them. Hopefully I'll get a set to officially try out on the show, but I really like that one from the PGA Show. Ross, great question there. All right, I'm going to go back to the live chat here and see if we can get some other questions. Let's see. Am I still okay? This is Brett again. Am I still using the ARCO sensors? If not, why? The sensors are on my clubs. I haven't been using it as much, and mostly because I'm trying out so much stuff all the time. It's hard for me to just, honestly, guys, it's very hard for me just to go out and then like enjoy a round of golf. But if I go play golf these days, I'm kind of I'm working. I did play like just a casual round with Wade a couple weeks ago. That was really nice. But a lot of times I'll just get something. I try it out for a while, a couple weeks or a month or something, a couple months if need be. And then I do the review, and either I give it to one of you guys. We do a lot of contests on this show. And if you're not a subscriber, hit subscribe, obviously, because that helps get you entered into these contests. But a lot of times they don't necessarily stick around. But I do have the sensors are on my clubs. I think they rolled out a new software update, and I'd like to go back and review that, but there's just so many things coming at me. I've got 2 new Garmin watches. These are actually fitness watches that have golf features, and a few people asked me about those. So Play Better gave them to me while we were at the PGA Show. So it's for those reasons that I can't keep using the same thing all the time unless I have that casual round. But those are so few and far between that I just don't get to enjoy sometimes. All right, let me get another question here. What's the best carry bag for walking 18? That's from Mark Zinda. Mark is here in Clearwater. By the way, Mark, sorry I didn't get to see you. I know you were at the PGA Show and I didn't get to see you. I was so sorry. There's a lot of meetings and a lot of running around. Best carry bag. Great question. I don't know the answer to it. That's something I'd love to do this year. But 2 bags that I do like that I know would make great carry bags. Vessel, we did review that bag last year. Both Patrick, who you see on this show from time to time, and Wade both use a Vessel, and they bought it, again, with their own money. It's not like Vessel sent it to us. They loved it so much that they bought it. We had seen it at the PGA Show 2020, and it was a really great bag. Vessel, at the end of last year, I think, had some production issues, and so it was hard to get those bags. But I think they've rolled out some new ones this year, so I'd love to try those out. Another bag that I'm really hoping, say a prayer for me. I looked at this company, and I get press releases all the time, especially around the PGA Show. They're sending a ton of press releases. But one that caught my eye is called Zero Friction. And what's cool about this bag, and I'm hoping they will let me test it out, or I may even just buy it if they won't send me one. But what it is, it's a bag with detachable wheels. So that is like, it's like the best of both worlds. And it's a handle that pulls up out of like where the drivers sit. So basically you can use it as just a standard bag. And when you're traveling, you can put the wheels like in the pockets or something, and then you take the wheels out, put them on, lift up that handle, and you've got a cart. Super cool design. That would be one that if I that I'd love to try for this show. And I told them, listen, I do a lot of walking. That's what we do on this show. We walk 9 holes and talk about golf clubs, and I'd love to use your bags to do it. So hopefully they send me one. I'd love to try that one out. Again, if you ever hear me mention something, feel free to hit the contact of these manufacturers and tell them you want to see it too, if it's something that you're interested in. That'll probably give them a little nudge that Let's Play Through needs to try these out. Casey Martin asks, what are your thoughts on PXG? I did a PXG. I went to their facilities. I believe it was end of 2019. We went out to Scottsdale, Wade and I love I love the concept of, PXG basically sparing no expense, right? And allowing their engineers to test the limits and the boundaries. Love that idea. For me, to buy a set of golf clubs for $3,000 is going to be out of my price range, going to be out of a lot of people's price range that watch this channel. A couple of good things though. Their newer offerings are becoming more affordable for sure. I actually have the Gen 4 driver. Again, I think I mentioned this earlier, but that'll be coming to me this week, which I'll be taking out on course with those Mizuno wedges. And that, my wife was a Marine. You may not know this, but my wife was actually a U.S. Marine, and they offer at PXG a really decent military discount. And I believe the driver, I reached out to their marketing people, asked them to send me one to test, didn't hear anything back, so I went and just bought it. Used my wife's military discount to do it, and I think the driver was $280 or $290 with the military discount. So that's super reasonable, right? The equipment is really good, really good. Is it worth spending $3,000 on? I don't think the improvements that it doesn't justify that to me personally in my budget. To some people, it will. But if you can get it for an affordable price, if you are former military and get a discount, absolutely great stuff. I'd love to. I wish, the other hard part is you just don't get to see it or test it because it's not in all the major retailers. So that's the other part of it. But it is a very solid brand. Absolutely, I like PXG. Guys, thanks for those questions. I'm going to bring it back to some of the questions that folks asked on the community tab here. So where are we? Okay, this is a great question right here. Is it better to buy a brand new driver for $100 from a smaller brand or a secondhand driver for $100 from a big manufacturer? Well, I'll say this. If you could get a driver for $100 from a small brand, that would be great, but I don't think that even exists. I don't think you're going to be able to find a driver for less new. And tell me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I haven't seen any that are any decent for like less than $250. So you're going to be spending $250 one way or the other. So let me take your budget up to $250. Would I buy a brand new driver from a smaller manufacturer for $250 or a secondhand driver for $250 from a big boy? Again, I'm brand agnostic, so I don't have a dog in this fight. Nobody sponsors that. We don't have club manufacturers that sponsor this show, and I really wouldn't welcome that anyways, because I want to be brand agnostic and I want to be able to give you guys the honest opinion. Me personally, I would probably be looking at something, a generation or two removed. So right now I'd be looking at the Sim 2 because I think it's a really great driver. I believe I saw it for already discounted new. They're already discounting those new, and I'm sure you can pick one up used for $250. Now, the thing about those types, you got to be real careful. There's a lot of knockoff drivers out there on eBay and stuff like that. So you got to be careful where you buy it from. You always want to swing it one way or the other before you put your money down, put your credit card down, take it. A lot of these places, like if I walk into Edwin Watts, they've got a whole used club section. I can literally take it into one of their bays and swing it. You definitely want to do that. But I personally would probably be leaning towards a generation or two removed from one of the bigger manufacturers. A lot of times that's just because I know the customer, well, it could be good or bad, right? Customer service. But I know that there's a better chance that they'll stick around to, if there's ever a warranty claim, something like that. but there's great drivers out there. Tour Edge Exotic sent me a driver last year. Really like that brand. That's a reasonably priced driver that I would certainly consider. So just me personally, I think I would probably be leaning towards, a used TaylorMade or something like that. Maybe a used Ping, like the Ping G400 is still a really good driver out there. That sort of thing. I wish I could get a driver for $100 though. That would be pretty darn sweet. Maybe I can. Maybe on eBay. We'll have to check it out. I haven't looked on eBay very, very often, but I know used equipment got super expensive. It's funny because Bathman, you asked a similar question: is a golfer on a budget better buying a quality secondhand driver for $100 and using the savings on the rest of their bag? Again, I'm going to take that to $250 because it's hard to buy something for $100. I think that's going to be usable, but I think you can find a lot around $200, $250. Would it be worth it? I think for a lot of people, it depends where you are in your golf journey. Okay. If you are just starting out, yes, absolutely. You should take the extra money and probably get some lessons, and you should probably upgrade some other gaps in your bag because you're already probably using a secondhand set or something like that where you could take that savings and actually invest in it. Now, if you are a better golfer, I'm not going to put a handicap number on it, but let's say mid to low handicapper, is it worth using the savings on the rest of the bag? Sometimes for those folks, it's not. It's sometimes, eking out 2 or 3 yards or having that dispersion a little bit tighter is important. Last year I went from a 7 to a 4. Okay. That's a big difference, right? From a 7 handicap to a 4 4.5. Okay. Sorry, guys. 4.5. But it's a big difference to go from like 7. I think I was 7.9 to 4.5. It was more than 3 points difference. That is a big difference. And if I can eke out 5 more yards from my driver, if I can hit 1 more green around, that's really important to me. So for that reason, I would say if you're in the lower handicap range, it makes a little changes, incremental differences make a much bigger impact. But starting out, being a high handicapper, absolutely take the savings, invest in some lessons, which is really investing in yourself, and invest in some other, gaps that you might have to fill that bag. Bathman, awesome question as always. All right. By the way, Bathman, you said $100 rather than 100 pounds. So just found that interesting because he's in Bath, England, I believe. All right. Gabe, why isn't Yonx golf equipment in the US anymore? Their current line of elite clubs look impressive. That's from the Common Man. I believe Common Man's here in Orlando as well. Yonx just, I don't know. I think people think I'll tell you what I personally, why I wouldn't buy a Yonx golf club personally, unless again I tried it and it blew my mind. I think of them as like a tennis company, as like a racket company. I feel like that's their main focus, and I feel like golf clubs are secondary. I could be way off base, right? And I don't even know anything about the elite clubs, but I would certainly welcome trying them out and seeing if they were available. But I think at least in the U.S. market, I think that's probably why I think a lot of people are like me, where they think of them as a tennis company or something else, and not necessarily focusing on golf. And that's, do you see Yonx ads? I don't think I can ever recall a Yonx golf ad. I don't think I've seen them at the PGA Show, tucked in a corner, possibly years back. They certainly weren't there this year. If you're not visible to the golf community, I think you just get left behind, and maybe it's not their number one focus as a company. It doesn't seem like it would be. That's again speculation. I have no idea. Certainly have nothing against Yonx. Would be happy to try these elite clubs. But I think that's likely the case. People maybe just don't think of them as a golf company. All right. I'm going to go back here to the live chat. We've got questions coming in. All right. How do you spell sticks? Yeah, STIX is how you spell sticks. SK answered that already. Thank you, S. Those snake eye irons looked really good at the PGA Show. Did I see them? I don't think I saw them there. I didn't see those there. They must have been hiding. I don't think they were at demo day. Maybe they were at the main show floor. Christopher Sherman asks, unlike your irons and such with being fitted, do you feel getting fitted for a putter makes a big difference? Gosh, I think I'd probably, I'd probably offend a lot of golf teachers and instructors if I said it didn't make a difference. But I've got to say what I think, right? I think a putter is much more about feel and your confidence factor standing over it than anything else. All right. If you swing something enough, you will get used to it, especially when it comes to a putter, right? I personally, I generally, I will try out many shafts and things like that. But listen, I could swing a regular shaft. I could swing a stiff shaft. I'm kind of right in between, and I can adjust my swing enough at the level of player that I am. Other people makes maybe a bigger difference. For me, I can get used to a club. With a putter, I could certainly, if I putt with this thing, if I take 1,000 strokes with it, I will figure that putter out. So, do I think it's necessary? Would I personally pay the money? I would not. Okay, that's the short answer to the question. To get fitted, I would rather save the money and probably buy the putter that maybe not necessarily that expensive is better, but generally more expensive putters are usually better. They've got better milling, they've got better technology built into them. I'd probably save the money from a fitting unless you got the fitting for free and probably spend it on the putter. But I really think it's more about the confidence and looking down at it and feeling like you can make the putt. Golf is such a mental game. They say 99% of the game is played between your two ears, right? That's the old adage. And I think it's true. Like if a negative thought goes in my mind that I'm going to miss this putt or I'm going to hit one right. In fact, I'll tell you a really funny story. I was in England in September, and I'm going to tell you the rest of this story soon. But I got to play 1.5 rounds of golf, and I'll tell you why I only played 1.5 rounds of golf in a second. But I was at this little course, a little 9-hole course, just a complete gem. I got to remember the name of it. It's escaping me, but that doesn't matter. The last hole, the clubhouse is right on the right side. And people are literally, it was the middle of summer in the UK. It was wonderful. This is like the English countryside. And Flempton is the name of the golf course. Flempton. Look it up. Amazing. 9 holes. It's shaped in a clover, and you can tee off the first hole, the 4th hole, or the 7th hole. It doesn't matter. And it's a little 3-hole loop. It takes you back to the clubhouse. But on one of those loops, literally the dining area is right on the right side. The green is here, and like 20 yards right of it is people are literally like having beers and eating, maybe even 15 yards. I drove by, or no, I was walking. I walked by on my way out of that little 3-hole loop. I looked back and I told my friend Leighton, who I was playing with, I said, "Man, that could be a tough tee shot. If you push one right there, you could be in trouble." I put that negative thought in my mind. I step up to the 9th hole. What do you think I do? I was playing pretty good too, but bam, I hit one almost in someone's dinner plate. Because I put the negative thought in my mind. Golf is so much a mental game. And so having the confidence to stand over a putt and feel like you can make it, not really feel, know that you can make that putt. I think that's what it's all about. And I think that I could probably get used to any putt that I feel like, but I personally just wouldn't spend the time. I'm sorry if any teachers are offended. I'm also open to be proven wrong. All right, let's go to back to the live chat here. Frank Samet asks, "Is club technology going to hit a wall soon, or how can they improve your game?" I don't know, honestly, Frank. I think a lot of people will argue that because the USGA has specific rules of how flexible that can be, or the amount, 460 cc's of space. Those limitations inherently limit clubs. We know that the Stealth Club claims to be able to use some technology to still make improvements even with those constraints because they're using a different material. In real life, I didn't see those differences as much. I saw very, very slight gains. But I don't, the answer on the question is honestly, I don't know. This channel is a review channel, and so I've got to look at everything. And so I certainly will tell you as time goes on here, if anything strikes my eye. But I think there's places that I've definitely seen, when Wade and I, if you go back to the original Sim 2 video, the first one I made where I was at Edwin Watts indoors, and I think it was like I was completely shocked by the Sim 2 or something like that. I was using at the time the Callaway Epic, which was only a 3 or 4 year old driver at the time, Wade was also using the same. He's got a slightly different setup, but he also uses the Callaway Epic. It's the original Epic. And we both went in there and we're like, okay, let's try this thing. There's a lot of hype around it. It'll be a great video and people will be interested in this, but we're not walking out of here with a new driver. We both went in with that mindset. So even with that bias, when I tried the Sim2 driver, I couldn't believe how much of a change it made in both my game and Wade's game. Literally, Wade was hitting him 235, started hitting him 255. Was that psychosomatic, or was it like when you pop a pill and you got the placebo? I don't know. I don't think so though, because I've seen it with a lot of people who switched to the Sim2 last year. So that was something, back then, last year, certainly people were saying you can't make like there's coefficients and there's all this technical engineering terminology. There's restrictions placed in these clubs and they just can't get better, but they can get better. So, can they get, I think obviously the differences will be less and less and less over time. They have to be. I think that until the USGA says we're going to change, how we go about this, and they might. If they keep building golf courses longer, they're going to also have to let, for your average amateur golfer out there to go, you're probably not playing it from the tips. You're probably not playing 7,000 yards, and you're probably scratching your head while these guys hit the ball 320 like me, right? Like, not that I hit it. I'm scratching my head. I'm with you. There's got to be a way to let folks catch up. So there may be conjecture. There may be some changes down the line, and maybe golf clubs will take another big leap. But until that happens, I think the changes will be a little bit more incremental. But certainly places where I think clubs can get better. We saw the Ping G425, really great in terms of dispersion. And then I think, some of these companies have, was TaylorMade, call it twist face. There's different technologies where you can kind of work within the limitations that the USGA has and the RNA have laid out and make it a little bit more forgiving. I think, just a couple people made a comment on one of the videos that dispersion is the next, is the future of golf club innovation. I tend to agree with them, actually. Making it easier to get that ball up in the air, get that dispersion better. I will go back to the Harukin driver. I could not believe it. Wade couldn't believe it. I've got video on this thing. I literally hit 10 that you could walk up to and drop a ball within a 2 yards radius of each other. It was crazy. Just could not fathom what I was seeing. It sounded so bad, but it looked so good. All right, Shawnee Pants. Shawnee Pants is on the West Coast. He's also a YouTube golfer. Shawnee Pants comments on a lot of these videos, and he's up early because it's like he said it was like 7. So now it's 7:53 for you. I'm definitely going to answer your question. Do you think more manufacturers will use carbon faces, or is it a one-off? Ooh, very good question. Manufacturers tend to follow trends, so there's absolutely that. But also the big companies don't. In my experience, big companies don't like to take major risks either, okay? Again, my opinion, you asked for my opinion, here's my honest answer. I think if it was me sitting in a boardroom and I'm the CEO of XYZ major club brand, I think I'd probably wait it out. I'd probably see, how does this carbon face do for TaylorMade? What are their sales like? Are these things going to hold up? I think a lot of people are maybe concerned about longevity with a carbon face. Now, TaylorMade says that this thing will last just like a titanium driver, but we don't know yet, right? Like when they roll out a new medication or whatever the case may be, the last phase of the trial is literally people testing it out, right? You're giving it to the public. That's what we're going to see here. We're going to see the public is going to try this thing out. The guys on tour are going to try this out, and we're going to see if this thing holds up. And I think if it was me sitting in a boardroom, I'd wait it down a year or two. So I guess that's a long-winded answer to your question, Shawnee Pants. I think that we will see them if the Stealth does well and holds the test of time. And I think we won't see them if they don't. So there you go. Thank you for the question. Jamie Watkins. Morning, Gabe from Lakeland. Oh, you're close, Jamie. Cool. Any plans on another local get-together? And did you see Cabot bought World Woods in Brooksville? Yes and yes. Great questions, Jamie. We will. If you didn't know, last year we did a Let's Play Through meetup. I did it in, when did we do it? September, October, or was it even November? But for me, it was like the best time for a number of reasons. I really wanted to do it here at Carrollwood, where I shoot all my golf vlogs, that people from the that watch the show could literally experience that golf course that they see all the reviews done on. I thought that was really cool. That time of year is great for Florida because it's not super hot. Actually, now I come to think of it, it was a little earlier. Was it September maybe? Yeah, it was like middle to late September, I think we did it, because it was like right on the edge. Is this going to be a super hot day, or is it going to be a nice day? I'd love to do it, September, October again, most likely, or possibly the beginning of spring. So if you are interested, let me know in the comments right now if you're interested in getting together. If we get enough interest, maybe in April or May, we could put something together a little earlier. But what happens here in Florida is we're very, transient in terms of the golf courses here are super busy this time of year, and rates go way up. So to play my course as a guest right now is like $80 around, whereas in the summer it's like 60 around or something. So it's there's a difference there. It's and some of these courses go from like you play for $25 to you can play for 120. And I think Worldwoods right now is like 120. You mentioned Worldwoods. Whereas in the summertime, as a Florida resident or something, you can play Worldwoods for $25. So it can be considerable difference. So I'd love to get people back to Carrollwood at a time where it's less expensive for people to actually play it, but also at a time where it's not either super cold like it is right now, or super hot really in the summer. I was, a lot of the folks that watch this show are like me, kind of middle-aged or even older out there, and the sun can really take its toll on folks, and so we definitely don't want to do it in the middle of summer. But if there's enough interest, let me know in the chat. If there's enough interest, I will try to see if I can ask my club to have us do something like that in spring, right when the rate, maybe like right when the rates change to summer rates, but before it gets super hot. All right. That would be really cool. And the Carrollwood is a private club too, so I got to work with their schedule. They've got member events, and they've members take precedence. But they like me over there, so hopefully we could have a Let's Play Through golf meetup. Let me know down below if you're interested in doing that, and I can put you on the short list. You can always, by the way, you can always send me an email, letsplaythrough@gmail.com, and let me know if you're interested in that as well. In fact, I'll put that in the chat. gmail.com. There you go. There's my email if you want to let me know if you're interested in playing. Okay, guys. We're going to go back to the questions. We're 1 hour into this thing. But we got a lot of questions to cover, and I want to, like I said, I'm going to try to answer them all here for you. All right. This one is more of a personal question, and I told you I'll be happy to answer personal questions for you here on the live stream because I want to really get you to be able to really get to know me. What's your watch collection like? So I think the Entreri code asked that question because I do a lot of unboxings. You probably see me wearing a lot of different watches, and I think he's even commented on it. I've got a really diverse collection of watches. That's my thing. Like when I go on YouTube, I from time to time will watch some of the other golf channels out there, but what I'm mostly watching honestly is watch review channels. That's my thing. And in fact, if you follow watch review channels, you might see I comment on their videos and things. So watches is my thing on YouTube that I like to watch. And my collection's pretty diverse. I have everything from super cheap like Casio watches. I like G-Shocks a lot just because, especially I've been doing a lot of work. We just moved into this house. I'm doing a lot of work, and now those things can take a lick and keep on ticking. G-Shocks I'll wear, and I'll wear Seikos. I really like Seiko divers. I wear a lot of Seiko divers. Today I'm wearing like an Omega watch that I really like, just because I wear a lot of blue, and it's like a blue watch, so I like doing that. And I've got some even more expensive watches in the collection. That's where I spend my money. Like, here's a weird quirk about me. Like, I won't go to a barber and get a haircut. My wife's been giving me a haircut for 10 years. And before that, I used to give myself a haircut. And I added it up once, and I think I've over my lifetime, I've saved $10,000 or something. I averaged it out just on like not doing haircuts. So I take that money and then I buy something that I like, and I like watches. That's my little thing. So it's a very diverse collection. I'd say I probably have about 25. In fact, I've got 2 new watches again that I got at the PGA Show, these Garmin watches. That's also why I love to do watch technology. That's why I love watch reviews on this channel. They're not always the exact watch I'd normally wear, but sometimes they are. Like Garmin, I would wear these Garmin watches because they're very stylish and they've got some really cool features. The two ones that I'm reviewing, it's the new Phoenix and something else. I don't know, but it looks very interesting. It'll tell you, it's got like a life battery. So it'll tell you like when you wake up, are you refreshed? When you're feeling, it'll literally like look at your heartbeat and tell you these things and your body metrics. So it's super cool. I can't wait to try those out because they also have golf features, and we're going to see, would this be a good comparison to a Garmin, S42 or S62? We'll be doing some of those types of comparisons. So I love watches. I geek out about everything and the little technology quirks of them. And I really love mechanical watches because, it's just interesting to, like to be able to put a machine into something, that's 12 millimeters thick and, 38 or 40 millimeters wide or less, like to be able to build something that can be accurate to a second a day or couple seconds a day to me is fascinating. So I just get a kick out of that. I'm a geek for that sort of thing. So cool question. Mike Manna, any plans on doing a round with subscribers this year? Yes, Mike, we just talked about that. Again, let me know if you're interested. Just leave a comment down below. Okay, any plans to make it to the West Coast? Absolutely not. Not that I don't like the West Coast. But I'll tell you, this is the story I wanted to tell you about Flimpton Golf Club and the UK. This is a story that I haven't told, other than my close people know, like my friends, my family, stuff like that, they know. I haven't said anything about it on the channel, but I went out to the UK this year in early September, and I had an incredible itinerary, right? I was playing Royal Birkdale #1, which is like the top 3 course in England. It's a US Open venue. I was going to hold the Let's Play Thru meetup in the UK. We had some folks that were coming out. We were going to play that at Cirencester Golf Club in the Cotswolds. It's beautiful countryside. I was playing in like a charity event at another really high-end golf club. I was speaking at a conference. So I had a week's long itinerary in the UK. I'm here in the United States. I test negative for COVID because what happened, UK's rules, you have to test when you leave and when you get there. I test negative for COVID. I fly to the UK. I want to get it out of the way. So on the first day I'm there, or maybe the second day I'm there, actually, you have to do it within 48 hours. I take a COVID test there. What do you think happens? I test positive. I have no symptoms, 0 symptoms. I test positive. And by UK rules, I am stuck in that hotel room. I could not leave my hotel room, could not like walk the streets, couldn't go to a park, nothing. I was stuck in a hotel room for an entire week. I was calling the US Embassy, seeing if there's anything I can do to get out of here or somehow get out of this because I literally had no symptoms. Luckily, I had a friend there, Leighton, who is the manager at Cirencester, who gave me by the way, I'm staying in a flea bag motel, okay, in a town that you would not want to be in. It's like the armpit of England. And I have in this hotel because none of the hotels had availability for a week long, and I had to book for a week because that was the restriction time that I had to be under lockdown. So the only place I could find was this real dump in a crummy town. And so Leighton was able to he gave me, I was like, dude, can you at least bring me some groceries or something? I had no microwave. I had no refrigerator. So I was literally for a week lived off peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and some ramen noodles because I could boil water. I had a hot pot that I could boil, or not a hot, whatever they're called, like a tea kettle that I could boil water, and like one of those electric ones. And I lived off ramen noodles and peanut butter and jellies for a week. Missed playing Royal Birkdale, which was like a dream of mine. I missed my speaking engagement, missed playing the charity event, missed the Let's Play Thru meetup, which broke my heart. I had to email everyone and tell them, I'm sorry, we can't, we're not going to do this. That stunk. And so I'm not doing any traveling. So it has nothing to do with the West Coast because I'd love to play Bandon Dunes. I was supposed to play Torrey Pines in end of March 2020, and you probably guess how that went. That got canceled. There's a lot of courses I want to play out on the West Coast, but it's not going to be this year because I'm not moving, honestly. And that's now why I'm not moving, because I do have to take one trip to Ecuador with my wife because one of her cousins is getting married in Ecuador. But apart from that, I'm not leaving the state of Florida. Well, I may leave the state of Florida. Probably won't even leave the state, but maybe I'll go to Atlanta or something like that. I'm definitely not going to the West Coast. But great question, Double Bogey Bass. He's also a YouTuber, by the way. You can check out his channel. He's like a combination of fishing and golf, which is kind of cool. And they just had like a YouTubers meetup. I think you guys were at PGA West and a few other courses. Looked beautiful. In fact, Silver Rock was a course that was like high up on my bucket list that I wanted to try, and you guys played there, which I was really happy about. What's your favorite English-born Australian resident golf channel? This comes from 4to4 Golf, and you probably guessed it. My favorite English-born Australian resident golf channel is 4to4 Golf. Absolutely. So that YouTube channel is Dave over there in Western Australia in Perth, who is trying to go from 4, meaning a really not so great golfer, to a 4 handicap. So that's why it's 4to4. This is a clever name. And Dave's a really nice guy. I had him on my podcast talking about golf in Western Australia. I really enjoy his vlogs. The guy should have way more subscribers than he does. Although we should give him a big congratulations on his channel because he just did hit 1,000 subscribers at the end of last year. But I enjoy what he does out there. I love looking at these Australian golf courses, the wildlife, the types of grasses and hazards and things that he comes across. Really cool. So Dave, there you go. You're my number one. You probably already knew that. All right. Nasjam Cut says, looking to play a new ball this season, undecided between the TP5 or the Chrome Soft. Woo! Okay, well, I haven't officially played the TP5. I'd like to do that, actually, and I'm going to be doing a lot of ball reviews this year, so that's definitely going to be in the mix. So I wish I had a great answer for this. Chrome Soft, those, I don't know. That's a ball I have tried, and I didn't necessarily love it. It wasn't for my game. So of the two right now, because I haven't tried it, I'd be leaning TP5, but I wish I had a better answer for you, Nasdaq. But thanks for putting the question in there. Leslie Tucker, any randomized trials which compare golf performance of players using fitted versus non-fitted clubs? I don't know of any. I do not know of any. But again, I think this would go back to one of my other answers where when you're starting out, like if you just started playing golf this year, or you're just getting into the game, I'm not so sure it's worth a custom fitting because you haven't figured out your swing yet. I feel like a custom fitting is much more beneficial once once you're coming into your own. Usually happens in year 2 or more of playing golf. So I don't know if there's any specific research, but my personal advice would be wait on getting fitted, because a lot of times the fitting process too is very rushed. I don't know if you guys have gone through the fitting process at a local golf shop or something like that, but in general it's pretty rushed. You're going to swing take 10 shots, and if you come in cold, if you come in on just an off day, the results aren't going to be correct. One of the reasons why you see me, I in the early part of the year, I like, because it's cold here anyways, and for other reasons, because I can get my hands on them, I go to Edwin Watts or and do those simulator tests. Then I kind of shortlist the clubs I'd really like to test, and I test them out on course, and we do full-on golf vlogs. And I really feel like you need to do that because you need to kind of be with the clubs, for lack of a better term. You need to kind of sit with them and understand them, and you can't do that. A lot of people have, there's a whole thing I read last year about, people that, and I think I'm one of these people where in a simulator, I don't seem to get the same results. And there's there's a term for it, but it's like you're kind of nervous in a simulator, like you're going to hit the netting or something like that. People just don't feel in the same element in a simulator. So first off, I think fittings are always better outdoors if you can do that. I know over time I've gotten way more comfortable. Now I go into a simulator and I can do that and not feel like I'm losing anything. But if it's your first time, you might have some of that simulator anxiety or something like that, and maybe that affects the performance. So again, getting back to what I think is the heart of your question, for new players getting clubs, I really think they're better off investing in lessons rather than getting fitted clubs. It's probably better to kind of learn your swing and then invest once you've got your swing down, once you understand the mechanics of the golf swing, then go ahead and invest in getting a fitting. And if possible, number one, if possible, get a fitting outside, because I think that's better. And also, if possible, try to do the best you can. Some of these places will literally, like I think Edwin Watts has a 60-day return policy. And, if you can literally take them out on course and make sure that you really like these things, if at all possible. I think that's the best way to do it. Because again, I think fittings sometimes, and the guys do their best. I know the pros that do fittings do their absolute best, but I could walk in there on a cold day and get maybe fitted for something that isn't right, just because my swing isn't right. I've got a little hitch in my swing and or something like that. It happens. So if possible, it's always better. But fittings, I definitely do believe in 100%, especially as you become a better golfer. Mid to low handicappers absolutely need to be getting fitted every time. You should never buy anything off the rack at that point, in my opinion. All right. Great question there, though, Leslie. I know it wasn't maybe the exact answer you were looking for, but hopefully we had some fun answering it. All right, John Sweat. John is a channel member. By the way, if you're not already a channel member, there's some perks involved with being a channel member. So you can check out the perks. There's a little join button underneath all the videos where you can check out what the perks are. We do some exclusive giveaways. I do a lot of giveaways to everyone, just subscriber giveaways, but I do also do exclusive giveaways just to the members. We do extra videos and things like that just for the members. So if there's any interest in really supporting the show, if you like what I'm doing and you want to be able to really support the work we're doing on Let's Play Thru, that's another way you can do it. But John's been a channel member and always has something interesting to say and ask. So I'm looking forward to this question, which is, you have one round left to play. What course are you playing and who are you playing it with? Awesome question. This is a question that I often ask myself a lot. There's a courses that number one courses on my bucket list that I'd love to play right now. Royal County Down in Northern Ireland, would love to play that course. Also, Royal Port Rush, where they will be, they just had the Open. I was at, was it 2019 or 20? Can't even remember. I took my son to, though. It was his first golf tournament he'd ever been to. And we, the fine folks in Northern Ireland took care of us and gave us a couple of passes. So my son actually got to see a professional tournament, and what a way to do it. Like, he'll be chasing that dragon for the rest of his life. Like, you got to see the Open Championship in at Royal Port Rush. That was super cool memory. Well, I'd love to see that. So that would be up there, right? Like, I'd love to take my son maybe when he's an adult and go play that, and see if he has any memories of it, or kind of be a special place for us. That would be really cool. So who would I like to play with if it's my last round? Absolutely my two sons. I got two sons. Those would be the folks. Sure. Would I love to play with Tiger? Absolutely. Would I love to play with, some of my heroes throughout the years? Absolutely. But I think if it's the last round I'd love to give my sons a little lesson, their last lesson on the game of golf. And in fact, the reason I do, mostly this channel focuses on club reviews. Occasionally, though, for you guys that are, hardcore fans of the show, you'll see that from time to time I'll do kind of advice, mental type of videos. Like, we'll go on the golf course and I'll show you how do I hit shots, things like that. When I make those videos, one of the reasons I started this channel to begin with was so that my sons could someday kind of look back and not only know who their father was and his personality, but maybe I'll be able to teach them a lesson later in their golf career. So I'd love to play with my sons, no doubt about that. Those would be who I was playing with. So Royal Port Rush would be shortlisted. But my favorite golf course that I've played, I got to play it last year. It's in Wisconsin, and I happen to be wearing the shirt. If you can see it. It's the best logo in golf, too. I think it's super cool. Gosh, because it's backwards, it's tough to figure out which way I got to open the shirt. Whistling Straits course, Pete Dye. Oh man, like, that is as good as golf gets. I love links courses. Maybe it's because it's so different, because here in Florida we don't have links courses. But I think there's like 900 and something bunkers on there. There's bunkers where probably no one would ever hit it, but it's just a beautiful course on Lake Michigan. And there's some amazing holes where they've got the pin. You probably saw it. They had was it the Ryder Cup was there, right? Last year. And they've got it out on a cliff, and you got the lake there, and you've got and almost every hole on the course has a view. The way they did it was really interesting. The way Pete died, and I think it came from his wife. This idea came from his wife, but they built up levels. Can't see that over here. You can see it here. Where holes, some of the inside holes on the round are higher, so you can still get a view of the lake. So almost from everywhere, there's only like 3 or 4 holes on the whole course. You don't have a beautiful view of Lake Michigan. Oh man, like that's pure. That's as good as golf gets. So I'd probably take my sons to Whistling Straits. That would probably be my number 1 pick. But yeah, Royal Portrush has got to be up there. Got to be up there. Great question, John. You had me thinking here this morning. All right. This kind of goes with that question, so we'll ask it next. This is from a user named South Canada. Will you play a round of golf with Good this year? I'd love to play with the good guys. Wade loves watching the good guys. I'd love to challenge the good guys. Do the good guys want to play with me? That's another question, right? Certainly, they're probably a lot better golfers than me. But I do have fun on a golf course. I think we could make some fun videos together. If anyone knows the good guys, let them know. I'd love to challenge them. Me, Wade, and Patrick will take them on. We'll take them on any day of the week. We'll take on any YouTuber any day of the week for that matter. Craig Talbot says, shot scope gear looks good. Did you try it at all, Gabe? Yes, it looks very, very good. I mentioned it earlier in this live stream, but the new rangefinder, can't remember the model name off the top of my head. The new rangefinder, and if you know, leave a comment. The new one, ergonomics on it, amazing. And it's a simple thing, but it just makes sense. I mean, you kind of scratch your head like, why didn't anyone think of this? There was a couple products like that at the PGA show. It's so simple, so obvious, but nobody ever thought of it, right? So ergonomics and the way you hold that rangefinder, as well as this detachable unit where you can literally clip it to your belt, put it on your golf cart, super cool. That looked to be the most interesting product. And I don't get excited about rangefinders all that often, because a lot of times it's more of the same, but man, these are sweet. Can't wait to try them. Also, I've never felt, the thing that made me the most excited was I was literally just like punching, I was in the show room at the Orange County Convention Center, and I was literally just punching I've never gotten immediate distances quicker than that. The Bushnell would probably be maybe even second to this one. I have to, if there's a way I can somehow clock it, I will let you know which one's technically faster, but I don't think I've ever felt anything faster. And there's got other things built into that, which again, that video I can't make just yet because we're not allowed to release a video like that until the middle of March. So I probably can't give you too much more information, although I will say it's pretty awesome, and I'm really looking forward to it. David Richard, he's also asking about the shot scope. Regarding the new shot scope with detachable shot tracker, do you feel the game has gotten too technical and numbers driven? Woo, that's a great question. I'm always of two minds when it comes to this, because I think golf sometimes should just be enjoyed, right? Some of the best rounds I've had, or most interesting times on a golf course, I really wasn't even keeping score. It was about who I was with. It was about enjoying golf. And there's 100% something to be said for that. But we live in a world that's technology driven. I think all of us in golf the reason you watch Let's Play Thru is probably because you're trying to improve your game in some way, whether it's for an equipment suggestion or technology suggestion or something like that. We're all trying to improve in golf, and if technology can help us improve, then I'm really all for it. So do I think it's become too tech driven? I really don't, honestly, David. I really appreciate the fact that we've got data and access as amateur golfers that we never had before, right? When these things were reserved for PGA Tour professionals for many years. They had access to the track bands and the launch monitors. Now we can get something like the Garmin R10 for $600, and it blows my mind. We have access to that sort of data at that price point. The fact that these companies will, someone mentioned ARCOS before. ARCOS probably the leader in really breaking down your game, and their application is pretty amazing in terms of shot. They started the whole strokes gained metrics, where what club or from what distance are you performing, and being able to really find where are the places in my game that I need to work on. I think that kind of information is invaluable. Most people, I mean, there's certainly plenty of people that play golf all the time casually. Maybe they just show up at a charity event, and for them, this stuff doesn't matter to them. But to us folks here, I think the folks that watch this channel, it makes a big difference. Like when I play golf, I don't want to be intense, right? I'm not the guy who's throwing clubs. I hate that kind of stuff. I am not the person who is cursing because I missed a putt. I am trying to always enjoy myself, be present in the moment. But at the same time, I'm always trying to become a better golfer. And if this technology can tell me that, like the ARCO system or the Garmin system, when you see some of your shot data after you play around with these things, and they tell you, hey, here's a part of your game that you should improve on. How many of us like just go out and practice putting? I started doing that last year. Like I would just go to the putting green at my course and spend an hour there and just hit 4-foot putts. And there were some drills, and maybe we'll do a video on this, some drills I started using of like, okay, I want to make sure my club face is coming through. And it wasn't that difficult. These are simple drills. You don't need all kinds of equipment. You don't need all sorts of training aids to do that. But having the technology to tell me where are the parts of the game that I need to improve helped me become a better golfer. It was a major factor, I think, along with better technology in the clubs themselves. But I think it was a major factor in me becoming, dropping basically 3 strokes off my handicap last year. So I'm all for it. I don't think it's too much. And I always think if it's there, people can use it. If it's not, if they don't want to use it, they don't need to either. But David, great question, sir. Thank you so much. Frank, we got 2 more pre-written questions from the community tab, and then I'm going to throw it all to live questions. Man, we've been going almost an hour and a half here, so I got to take another glass of water. I'm starting to get a little dry mouth. So maybe we'll go another 10 minutes after we get through these, but we got 2 more questions here. Why can't I hit a new driver to save my life? This is from Frank. Why can't I hit a new driver to save my life? I still hit my old Warbird better than any other new driver from the last 4 years. Good question. My answer to that is when you're hitting a really old club like the Warbird, there's different things that you're probably not used to. So the weight of a Warbird is going to be considerably different than these new drivers that are like mostly hollow inside. And I remember when I first got, I think it was a Cleveland, I want to say, but my first like big headed driver with the hollow, it's mostly hollow. It takes time to get used to those things. It's not something that you can just take 10 swings, during a fitting, and because it's a whole mindset shift. So I assume, Frank, that is one of the reasons. Also, I would guess, again, I'm not a club fitter, and I never want to claim anything like that. I'm not a PGA pro, none of that. I'm a mere mortal. That's why I put that on this channel. But I'm just taking a couple shots here, a couple shots in the dark because you asked, and I'm always going to give you my honest opinion. The Warbird, I would think, and I'm not sure, and again, if there's anyone here that knows for sure, please let us know in the comments. But I would think the shaft is a little bit shorter on those Warbirds than some of these shafts. I know the Sim 2 shaft, for instance, is another inch even than your standard driver. I bet, Frank, here's what I'd say. Try something like the Cobra Tour Length, the Rad Speed Tour Length. Just the length really is the most important thing. I just know Cobra happened to create a tour length specific driver, which was shorter because Ricky Fowler plays a shorter driver. He wants a little bit more control. I bet, well, I can only surmise that could potentially help in making you feel a little bit more comfortable with some of the new equipment, maybe a shorter shaft. If anyone knows for sure if those short shafts are short, let me know. David Branch, you're in here, so I'm coming to your comment next, but we got one more question from the community tab from CPT C Sharp. You must be a computer coder if you put C Sharp in your name, right? Where's the 2021 P790 review at? Great question. It's coming. The reason I didn't do it is because at the time I had my injury when those clubs came out last year. So just haven't gotten to them yet, but we will certainly be doing it. So guys, those were the questions from the community tab. Thanks to everyone who sent their questions in early. There was almost an hour and a half worth of early questions. Now I'm going to take it over to the live here. So we can answer your questions from folks that are here, and I'll do my best to answer as many as I can. There's a million comments here, but I'll do my best. So David Branch, one of our first David, you tell me, were you in the first 500 subscribers of this channel back when this channel was more of a golf travel show? David started watching, and he still to this day is one of the first people to ever comment on each video that gets dropped. So David, I always appreciate you. I think you also have one of the very few Let's Play Through original polo shirts, which is cool. And I hope you're still wearing it. By the way, we're going to be rolling out a new. I found a great clothing line at the PGA Show, and I'm going to be trying to roll something out here this. So just keep your eyes open for that. But here's David's question. David's in Michigan, I think. I watch Let's Play Through because you make golf videos fun. I love watching you guys play golf and help me feel warmth in the winter. Review videos are just a perk from time to time. Okay, so it wasn't a question, but a comment from David. David, thanks, man. Again, I so appreciate the dedication you've had to the channel. It means a lot to me, and that's why I look at every single comment that comes onto the channel. I try to respond to every one of them, but I can't. But I probably do more than most YouTubers, I think. So just know that I'm looking. If you guys leave a comment on any of these videos, I'm looking. All right, next question here. Domenico Iorfino says, Domenico, let me know if you're in Italy, by the way. It sounds Italian, but who knows? Who is or are your favorite YouTube golfers? All right, well, I've actually got a little if you may not have seen it, but if you go to the YouTube channel, to the main channel page, it'll also say I think there's a tab that literally says channels, and I list a couple of the ones that I watch right there. But just so you know, I really like SAS Golf in England. He does a great job. He does a lot of he refurbishes clubs, or he buys them used and resells them and tells you what are the best deals secondhand in the secondhand market. But Simon just does a great job. He's a very entertaining person, so I really like him. I watch so many. 4to4 Golf Dave. I watch his golf vlogs. I really like those. There's a guy named Terminator out on the West Coast who just bombs the ball, and I got to play with him in Alabama. So it was fun. It's fun to just watch somebody who's not a mere mortal, who's a guy that really can hit it. And he plays beautiful golf courses, and he does a good job with the graphics and stuff. So I watch a lot of probably in terms of golf, YouTubers watch more golf vlogs rather than reviews. For a number of reasons. I just enjoy watching golf vlogs, and number two, I try not to be skewed, especially when the reviews first come out. I don't want to watch other reviewers of take because I don't want that to influence my opinion. Not because because I trust their opinion, but I don't want to be influenced by it because I want to be able to form my own opinion. And a lot of times I'll go back and watch some of those guys. I mean, I watch them all. I mean, I watch Peter Finch. I watch that Alex Etches guy. There's a lot of them I watch. But in terms of friends in the golf community, just because we had a meetup last year, Miles Martin Golf, I think he asked a question here. Chili Dip, I'll watch his golf vlogs. Greg Cortman. There's a lot. There's a lot. And I'm missing a lot. But if you literally look on the channel page, you'll see channels, and those are literally channels that I watch or guys I know, and trying to support. This is a very tight-knit community. When you talk about like golf vloggers and influencer, Garage Golf, again, I met him at the PGA Show. I watch his stuff because I'm interested in simulator reviews. So really, it's a tight-knit community. We all try to support each other. And that's been really nice. I don't think of other golf vloggers or other channels as competition. I really consider them colleagues in what we're doing here. So great question. All right, here we go. This is from Ramon Montejo. Thoughts on simulators. Are they accurate? I live in Wisconsin and have buddies that are super skeptical about them. I think it depends on the ones you're buying, honestly. In general, like a Doppler radar device, like a lot of the ones around the $500 price point, they're going to be very accurate outdoors. Not as accurate indoors, just because they can't track the ball as far, right? You're hitting 8 feet into a net. So the data maybe is not always 100%, but I'd say it's still more often than not correct. But then when you get into things like the GC Quad, I'm hoping what this Bushnell Pro is, like I said, I've got a Bushnell Pro that's supposed to show up here today from FedEx, from Play Better. That I expect to be spot on. So those I do trust quite a bit. And especially if you're outdoors doing them, you can see it with your own eyes. You can see if there's a misread. They happen, but they happen as technology has gotten better. They happen less and less. So I do trust that data, absolutely. Good question, though. Ross Strange asks, how is the ankle? Fully healed or still occasionally giving you problems? Fully healed, Ross. I don't feel encumbered, or I don't feel anything down there. I feel back to normal with my ankle. And the only thing I'm missing right now is I gained probably 5 or 10 pounds as I was rehabbing. I think one of my kids is trying to come in. You might see one of my kids pop in here. I gained a few pounds rehabbing, so I've got to get that down. In fact, one of the reasons I'm using those Garmin fitness watches that I'll be reviewing is because I literally need to get my fitness up. And if you saw my early videos with the Stealth, the Titleist T series, the Mizuno Pro series, my swing speed is down about 5 miles per hour. So that really is just, a lot of it is rotation. I think I'm not bringing, and someone mentioned it on one of the videos actually, that I'm taking a shorter swing, and I could see it when I saw myself on video. I was like, whoa. I don't necessarily feel it when I'm swinging, but when I saw it on video, I could tell that I'm not rotating enough. And so my swing speed is down about 5 miles per hour. So those are the things I really need to fix. My fitness, which getting back on course, walking the course, that should do it, especially when it gets hot here and I'm sweating my brains out. That'll do it. And then, getting my swing speed up, which is also just a product of playing more. So David says, my question is higher up. Okay, David, I'm going to try to find it. David. Okay. What state do you think has the best golf? Not best ranked courses, but best place to play overall. Price, number of courses, etc. Ooh, I love that question, David. What state do you think has the best golf? I mean, all told, it's honestly, it's very hard to beat Florida, especially when it's warm here, because you can get some really good prices. And the fact that I could drive, 10 miles in radius from my house and probably hit 25 golf courses, it's really hard. I feel very blessed to live in Florida for that reason. Certainly the courses in Wisconsin, I really love the visual look of them. You've got Sand Hills, which I haven't played yet, but just looks amazing. I've played a number of courses in Kohler. Michigan's got a ton of courses that are great. And then, you think of other classic hotspots. They're hotspots for a reason. So like, Scottsdale, Arizona, or the Palm Desert. Those are certainly great places to check out. I love, because I told you, someone had asked earlier what golf vloggers I watch, and a lot of them are in Atlanta. Dougie Barnard's another one, by the way. Those courses, I love the visual look of them, because a lot of them, you could play a public course in Atlanta. I played a couple of them, and they look almost like Augusta. They got the pine straw off the fairway. The grass is green. You got the rolling undulations in the fairways, and the courses, I mean, outside it and around the Atlanta metro area, really nice. And again, those are within striking distance from me in Florida. I could literally, 6 hours I could be there. So I really appreciate those courses. I really love links golf, though. So if we can take this internationally, I love the courses in Northern Ireland. You see a lot of people have commented, I wear a Castle Rock golf club pullover from time to time. And, that's because I really I love that course in Northern Ireland. I love a lot of them. I got to play Port Stewart. Like I said, I didn't play it, but I was at the Open at Royal Portrush. Royal County Downs on my bucket list. Those courses are beautiful. So internationally, Northern Ireland would be my number one pick. I'm a Florida boy. I'm going to stick with Florida, David. So good question there. Oh, the Wads. Thanks for the super chat. One of my favorite YouTubers have a hot cocoa on me. Thank you, man. It's freezing. And Alex, you may not have been here, but my heat is off. My heat broke on Friday. We had the coldest days of the week. We hit the 30s here, for those who didn't hear that earlier. So that's why I'm wearing this nice, I had a little, luckily Amazon, I was able to buy an overnight shipped. They have overnight on Amazon now. So at 7 a.m. yesterday, 7 a.m. this morning, rather, I got a space heater. So I had that on, but it's loud, and I don't want to have that on during the video, but it's very cold here. My kids, I had them 3-4 blankets on them. It's bad. Thank you. Thanks for the hot chocolate, Alex. I really appreciate the super chat, man. All right. Bradley Kua says, have you tried any Hanma clubs? Yes. I tried the whole Hanma kit and caboodle about 2 years ago at the PGA Show. They had a nice setup. And I got to meet the main engineer of Hanma. I really appreciate the care that goes into those clubs. and the design elements of them they're just beautiful clubs. They feel great. So yes, I have tried some Hanma clubs. Mike Watson says, I'm also from Michigan in Battle Creek. Awesome, man. Yeah, there's some great golf in Michigan. That's a bucket list area that I'd just love to go play Michigan in the summer. They have a short season up there, so maybe in July or something. I don't want to go up there right now. But I'd love to see it in the summertime and play some of those courses. John Boudreau has asked, is the SE300i still a great purchase, or is there something better introduced in Orlando and maybe should wait? Well, here's the thing about waiting. I think we all found this out last year, is you never know in terms of the supply chain right now what's going on. And so I wouldn't be waiting if it was me, honestly. Even if you did, it would be hard to say that this is going to be mind-blowingly better, because the SC300i is really good. In fact, I was carrying it. This was kind of a cool story. That was the one I decided to take with me to the PGA Show because it's a really easy setup, and I can see the numbers and I can look back. And I didn't turn the volume on I didn't want to distract people, but it's nice that it just it yells you the distances right after you hit it. That's literally the one I took with me. And then I'm hitting a couple swings with those Harukin golf clubs. Those love the I gotta find the Harukin golf club to take that thing on course. That's my number one club I'm looking to play this year. But I was taking some shots. I see this guy like bending down behind me. And anyway, it happened to be one of the guys. He was like the national sales manager for Swing Caddy, and so he was looking to see what I was playing with, and it happened to be his. I said, "Hey, I did a review on yours." So that was kind of cool to little story. But to getting to your question, the SE300i is pretty awesome. I just told you I literally used it at the PGA Show. The R10 too, I love. If you can get your hands on one, is the problem with that, because again, supply chain. So I wouldn't be waiting necessarily. And a lot of times in the golf world, they say they're going to release something, especially on the technology side, and then things for whatever reason get delayed. To make a long story short, wouldn't be waiting. Hello from Iowa, Andy. Yeah, Mike, I'm in Chelsea. All right, great. I'm glad you guys are telling us where you're from. Dealcasters. Oh, my friends, the Dealcasters. They've got an awesome Amazon Live, and they said, I assume this is Jim, but he says, ever play Sugarloaf in Atlanta? I haven't. Would love to do it. That's another course that's up there. East Lake. I had an in to go play East Lake Golf Course, which is probably the number one course in that region I'd love to play, apart from Augusta. But if anyone here is an Augusta member, I'd love to play with you. But I probably not going to happen, at least not right now. So East Lake, that's probably my number one in Atlanta I'd like to play. Guys, Common Man says he's saving up for the Garmin G80. Guys, we've been going at it for over an hour and a half. I think an hour and 38 minutes now. So my voice has just about had it, but I enjoyed doing it, and I want to do this again. All right, guys. I think earlier I left my email in the comments. So if you've got any real specific questions, you can shoot me and I'll try to answer it, or just leave comments in the videos. I'm always going through there, and if it's a question especially, I'm always going to answer those to the best of my ability. I hope you guys enjoy this a ton. Before I let you go, if you haven't subscribed, you got to hit subscribe, right? We just spent an hour and a half together, and I hope you enjoyed it. And then if you really do want to take the next step and really support this channel, a few ways to do it. Like Alex did earlier and a few others have done today, super chat. If we're ever doing a live stream, that's great. But really to join the channel, joining the channel, we've got some great perks for channel members. I think right now we've got about 25 to 30 channel members. I even sent everyone Christmas cards this year. So there's just little things I try to do for the channel members, but that stuff means the world to me. To support our show sponsor, playbetter.com, and get your gear there. Again, from a company that's not some giant corporation, but guys that care about the game of golf. It's a small team over there in Baltimore, my hometown, and they love the game of golf. They have great customer service, but the pricing, you're not going to get better pricing anyways. So it's just as well you buy from there, and you help support that show when you do that. And then, like I said, be mindful. We do have merch already that we sell underneath all of the videos, but I'm going to be hopefully rolling out a new clothing line for everyone. So if you could support the show and you love the show enough to wear one of the hats or shirts or something like that, that would be awesome as well, guys. So thank you for everything you do. Even if you can't support this channel financially, I appreciate the interactions, the questions, the likes, the subscribes, all of that. I just enjoy. I feel like I've got the best job in the world because I get to spend every week doing videos that you guys hopefully appreciate. And by you watching the videos, that allows me to do that. So thank you for that. And guys, have a great rest of the weekend, especially if you're up north. Even I know they have a blizzard and snow and stuff. Stay warm. And thank you for being here. That's going to do it. I will catch you back here next time on another